Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well and you're watching my YouTube channel Advanced Technology by Rana. And guys, in the previous recorded session, if you remember, we have done the configuration on the Cisco router and switches part, and the diagram which is I'm sharing with you. This was the same diagram which we use for the part 1 section. Okay. In the last recorded session, we done the configuration towards the router for the WAN router, and then we did configuration on the DMZ switch, and then we did configuration on the distribution switch, and then we did configuration on the other devices as well to make it reachable with the firewall. Okay, and in today's session, guys, we will do the basic level of configuration on the Palo Alto. We'll see the dashboard, we'll see the Palo Alto different options which are available. So let's start our lab for today. And before I start, please don't forget to subscribe and like this channel. And if you like this video, please provide your positive feedback. Okay, guys, so let's start with our lab for today. This is our topology. This is the same topology which we done for the previous session. And today I will show you the Palo Alto Firewall. At present, I use the Palo Alto image version 10, which is the PAN-OX. And this is the latest iOS, which is right now working with the Palo Alto Firewall. So just I keep the 6 interfaces, and the RAM is as usual 4 GB. So I will just power up the firewall. Yes, I will open the session. The Palo Alto Firewall is started. Okay, another thing, either this is a virtual or this is a physical Palo Alto Firewall, the booting process is almost same. Okay, you will not feel much difference in the virtual firewall or on the physical Palo Alto Firewall. So you can see that it is started now, and it will start with as post power on self-test, and it will check the system, the file system, and the other option what normally a normal hardware device normally check during the boot process. And this process will take around 3 to 5 almost 3 minutes, not 5 minutes, approximate 2 to 3 minutes is the process to make this Palo Alto Firewall boot normally. Okay, so let's go ahead for this one. During this Palo Alto Firewall is booting, let's see some different things to see the mode of the Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, so I will show you here. Okay, guys, this Palo Alto Firewall basically a new generation firewall, and this can be configured in different order. So when we will log into the Palo Alto Firewall, we will see it's already started, but until now it is not still in the normal mode. The reason, it will take the IP from my DHCP router. I will show you once again my diagram. Okay, so this is my Palo Alto Firewall. I connect this management interface with my home internet modem. Okay, so this is the modem which is right now my home internet modem, and it is configured as DHCP as well. When you will do in the real-time environment, you will do the same thing. You will configure your laptop or your desktop or whatever device with the management interface of the Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, and it will and you will run some application like auto DHCP or WinZip or whatever it is, which will help you to get to make your system as a DHCP. So the management interface will take IP from your router or from your if you have a laptop, it will take IP from your DHCP. Okay, to manage the hardware. So once you are able to log in to the Palo Alto Firewall, then you will configure the GUI to configure the interfaces of Ethernet 1/1, 1/2, 1/3, or other things. You will see now. So still, Palo Alto Firewall did not take the IP. Once it take the IP, we can see here the IP address. Okay, and then we are able to log in. At present, I'm not able to log in. If you can see. Oh yeah, great. Let's log in now. Admin. Okay, the default username and password is admin and admin. So I will put the old password admin, not asking for the new password. Okay, in the real firewall, it's also asks you the same thing. So I will make it as complex. Okay, now I'm logging. Okay, guys. The firewall modes I will show you later on. Okay, so let's hold for this one because my Palo Alto firewall is booted now. Okay, guys. The mode which is right now we are, this is the sign, this is as a operational mode. Okay, in the routers, if you remember, the mode which is right with the same signal or the same icon, it is called user mode. So normally in the user mode, you does not have rights to configure the firewall, except you can see the options which are running on the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, so this is our operational mode. Basically there are two modes in the Palo Alto firewall. One is operation mode and one is configuration mode. Okay, in the configuration mode, you can do the command with your administrative task. So what I will do now, if I make it show space question mark, you'll see a bulk of commands. So this is all command which is related to the running configuration. Okay, so let's see that it took the IP or not. So let me see and put command show interface, show system info, show system info. Okay, if I put this command, it will pick the IP 192.168.0.119. Okay, so this is the IP which is assigned to the management interface. Okay, if you see here, it will show you some here the management also. Yes, default gateway and IP assignment, DHCP, and host name PA VM. Like this is the virtual version of this one. Okay, so this is the overall summary by doing show system info. Now we'll give the command show interface management. Okay, so when I did show interface management, so the management interface have configuration, IP address 192.168.0.119, net mask /24, gateway 192.168.0.1, which is my home internet modem. I will do one thing, I will ping this firewall. I will see I'm able to reachable this one or no. I'll go to my command prompt. 192.168.1.119. I'll do one thing, I will try to ping from here. I'll go to the configure mode. I'll do it. Ping. Sorry. Set. Ping. Host 192.168.0.1. Okay, so I'm able to ping my default gateway. I'll do one thing, I will try to ping the IP 182, which is my laptop IP 0.182. Okay, the reason why I'm not able to ping my laptop, and from the laptop I'm not able to ping my management interface of my Palo Alto firewall, because there is no route configure on my home internet modem. Okay, because my modem is not supported by giving the IPs or default gateway or routing information, so I'm not able to assign the IP. But if you can see, my default gateway is 192.168.0.1. Okay, and from here as well, I'm able to ping 192.168.0.1. So I'm able to reachable to my default gateway, my home internet modem. Okay, but I'm not able to reach through my laptop or through desktop to this Palo Alto management interface, because on the router, default route is not available or static route is not available to reach to this firewall. Okay, I can show you here as well. 192.168.0.1. Okay, if we put it admin. Okay, unfortunately, there is no option available to configure the static routing. Okay, or the default route or any routing, because this is not a layer 3 router. It's just basically a more modern, less router. Okay, so I do not have any option for the static route to configure on this one, except I can just configure the IP address only. Okay, so that's what, this is the reason I'm not able to reachable. I hope you will understand now. So let's back. So the IP which is configured here, show interface management 192.168.0.119. I'll go over here 192.168.0.119. I'll put the password, username and password. I'm able to log in now. Okay, guys, this is the welcome page. Welcome to PAN OS 10.1. I'll make it close. It just provide the feature of the new PAN OS version. Okay, so this is just the intro for this one. Telemetry data collection. This is the option, guys. We can enable it, and what it will do normally, it will collect the information related to the Palo Alto firewall, and then it send back to Palo Alto to web. Okay, and it will provide them feedback to enhance their product. Okay, but this option you can enable with the permission of administrator, especially when your Palo Alto firewall is in the online mode. But if you configure it as a offline mode, it's not like compulsory. It is just an optional to enable this option. So it will collect the data. What it write down, the elementary data collection has been expanded to cover device health and performance metrics. Okay, such as CPU and memory utilization, product usage, includes configuration information and threat prevention. For example, you are filtering, etc. Palo Alto Network use this data to power additional capabilities that benefit you, to improve product functionality and to improve threat prevention analysis. Okay, so this is the optional thing which you can enable as well, but we will not do this one. So this is the main dashboard, guys. This is a very user-friendly dashboard for Palo Alto 10.1 and the previous version as well. On the main page, if you see over here, you can have to add more of the routine options, okay, which is normally you have required whenever you log in. So you can add this one. There are many other options. Logs, if I make it logs, threat log, URL filtering. Okay, so this is the main dashboard. I can customize it as well. Normally you keep the system logs on top, and login admin you also keep on the top to see who people have, how many people have login. If you see over here, it's showing that from the CLI or web event. If you make any more administrator or any other read-only users, whoever log in, it will provide you information about those people who have logged in to your hardware device. Then the system log, it will give you the normal information about related to the system. Then there is interfaces you also keep on the priority basis to see which options on the interfaces are enabled. The general information, you keep it always on the top. It will just give you the same information what I put command over here. show system info. Okay, so this output and this output is almost same. Okay, so it will give you the information about your device name, management IP, default gateway, mask, MAC addresses. Okay, it will give you the CPU ID, UUID, how many VM cores. So software version is there. So normally you keep this on information on top of the page. Then you can keep this system resource as well as the priority one, because you should know that how much utilization is doing on your Palo Alto hardware firewall. Then normally HA, you always keep it in the priority. We will configure the HA as well very soon. Okay, so where is the HA? Where is left HA? High availability. Okay, so I'll keep it here as well to always keep the status of the. I'll keep it here for the high availability. Okay, then there is top high risk application. It will, once we will configure the application, it will also show you the graph of the application which are not which are threat related application. Okay, then there is the logs, URL filtering logs. When we configure the URL filtering log, it will also provide us information about the URL filtering, what kind of filtering we're doing. So this is just a summary dashboard for the administrator. So when he will log in, if he will able to see what is running in your Palo Alto firewall. Okay, then there is ACC. It is also related with the threat activity, block activity, tunnel activity. All this information will be available under the ACC mode. Then there is a monitoring one. In the monitoring, you have all your things related to the monitoring, like traffic, threat, URL filtering, wildfire submission, data filtering, and much more. We'll also explore this one in our next sessions. Okay, then we have a policies where you have your security policy. By default, you have two policies: intra-zone default and inter-zone default. You can edit this as well, and you can create the new one as well. So we will also explore all this one. NAT we will configure, and we will see how we configure the NAT policy-based routing. We will see. Okay, so SD-WAN is also supported in this version. The DOS protection is there, authentication is there. Then normally there is another tab, object. This is the mostly the normal administrator is working with object and network. Okay, these are the two more options which we will use it, and in the real-time environment, you have day-to-day work with these two options, objects and network especially. In the objects, you can create your addresses with your naming convention. You can configure here the IP net mask, IP range, wildcard mask, fully qualified domain name. If you have a DNS, you can resolve it as well. So these options are here. Region, dynamic user group. We can create groups as well. Okay, instead of we will apply the configuration on individual level. So why not make one group as an OU? For example, your printer user or your IP phone user or your application user, you can just put them in a one group and apply this NAT security policy on that group instead of individual user. So your administrative work will be less instead of doing on individual level. Okay, then there is the applications. There are predefined applications already there, like the business system, collaboration, general internet. There is around 4,000 of applications available in Palo Alto vocabulary or in his iOS. Okay, and we can create more as well. So if you see over here, business system related, you will see audio streaming. I just need to enable the specific predefined application, and it will allow or deny the audio related things. Collaboration related things also there. Databases, email, then general internet, file sharing, internet utilization. So there is much more. The media related application will be covered in the media section. Okay, and then there is a networking. So we will explore all these things in our upcoming videos. What else? SaaS is there as well. Then we can create, same as it is, we can create a group instead of we configure the individual level. Application filtration we can do is services as well, we can create it, and we can create a group as well, tag, devices, and much more. Antivirus, anti-spyware, URL filtering, file blocking, wildfire analysis, DOS protection. So all things are there as well. Come to the network part. In the network section, guys, it is the mostly the tab where we will work. Okay, like this is all my interfaces in the firewall, physical. Then if we create the VLAN, I should always go to the network option. If I have to create a low back, I will go same in the network option, in the tunnel as well, in the SD-WAN as well. If I have to create a zones, I have to use this network option as well. What is the zones? As per based on my diagram here, we'll create a zone. Outside zone, we'll create a DMZ zone, we'll create a inside zone. So these zones we will create where? In the option of the zones, okay, under the network. Then the VLAN, if I have to create a VLANs, where it go? Yeah, the VLANs creation will be under this VLAN option. Virtual wire I will create over here. Virtual routers I will create here. The default route, the inter VLAN routing will be configured under the virtual route. If I go here, add, I will just add by giving some name XYZ, and then I can configure the static route. Okay, what is the name of static route, destination, interface? So we will see this one as well. What is the next one? IPsec tunnels. This is a very important section of the Palo Alto, not for the Palo Alto, for any firewall. Okay, so IPsec is always there. GRE tunnels are there. DHCP is there. So we'll see, we'll explore all this option as well. Then there's a network profile. Okay, in the network profile is there as well. There is the interface management network as well. So all these things we cover under this option. Then in the devices mode, this is most information related to your Palo Alto firewall. We will configure some of the options here as well. This is the option related to the management. This is related to the operation, services, interfaces, telemetry, content ID, wildfire session. So all these things will be configured. High availability will be configured under this option as well. Okay, when we enable the HA, we will help with this one, and then other things also as well. Let's see what's over here. Password profile. So all these things will be covered under this devices option. The radius, SNMP, syslog, emails, HTTPS. So all will be covered under the devices option. Okay, guys. You remember I was going to start the modes of the Palo Alto firewall. Let's cover up this part and move with our basic level of configuration, which is our topic for today. Okay, guys, if you see over here, if I click over Ethernet 1/1, okay, so I will see here the description of the Ethernet interface. So if you see over here, interface type. Okay, there are different types of interfaces, and this is a very major task or major role to configure the interface type. Either it's a TAP, it's a HA, virtual wire, L2, L3. So let's explore this option first, okay, because we have a lot of work with the interface types. So I created a small document. I will try to share it as well, which are the giving the modes. Okay, if you see over here, the tap mode is on the top, and if I will show you over here, yes, the first option is the tap mode. So we'll see what is a tap mode. Okay, basically, guys, if you see with this diagram, it's a small diagram with internet, and this is our WAN router, and this is our any firewall. Okay, it might be Palo Alto, it might be FortiGate and some other brand, and then there is a switch, and then we have a service. Okay, so basically the tap mode is allow passive monitoring of the traffic flow across a network by using the span feature, if you know about the mirroring. Okay, so basically a typical deployment would involve the configuration of span and on catalyst switches, where the destination port is your Palo Alto firewall, which is connected with your inside switch, and the source is the outside interface of the switch, which is connecting with the outside world. It can be a firewall, it can be a router. Okay, normally in the tap mode is used in your production environment, especially when you have some other firewall or you does not have a firewall and you want to inject the firewall in your inside network. Okay, so at the time, basically you configure the span, and it will not disturb the traffic on your inside network, and it will pass on the traffic to the Palo Alto firewall for the learning purpose. Okay, so you will see what kind of traffic is going in and out, And normally this mode you normally run the tap mode you run for few days to get the information about the environment, to bake your policies later on once you inject the Palo Alto firewall in your network. Okay, so this is the advantage of this deployment mode, is that it allows organization to closely monitoring traffic, basically to monitor the traffic, okay, to their server or network without curing any changes to the network infrastructure. So especially again, if you have your real-time environment and you are not able to disjoin or discontinue your network, and you want to learn what kind of traffic is going in and out, in that situation scenario, you will use the tap mode. Okay, so this is the tap mode. Then if you see over here, the next mode is vWire, which is called virtual wire mode. Let's see over here, virtual wire. Okay, HA is there, high availability. Okay, so this is just if you have active as standby or active, then you configure this mode as a HA. Okay, we will see this one in the upcoming videos, but for now we will learn about the virtual wire. Okay, the virtual wire mode. Yes, this is my virtual wire mode. vWire, we call it vWire mode as well. Okay, so let's have a look on the diagram, then we will continue about the details of this mode. Okay, so what is happening now in the virtual wire mode, we did not configure the interfaces of the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, so it is just directly connected with your inside or your outside router or switch. Okay, the virtual wire interface have no basically layer 2 or layer 3 addresses, which like when one of the virtual wire interfaces receives a frame or packet, it ignore any layer 2 or layer 3 address. Okay, when one of the virtual wire interface receive a frame, it ignore the traffic. It will not see for either the layer 2 or layer 3. Okay, so this is basically for switching or routing purpose, but applies your security or net policies rule is there, like the security rules are there. If you see over here the second diagram, okay, virtual wire deployment option. Okay, so it will receive the packet. Okay, it will ignore any IP and it will just pass on to your inside network. Virtual wire deployment, no routing or switching performed actually, basically in a virtual wire mode. Okay, so basically our firewall which are shipped from the factory have only two interface port, 1 and 2, and it is pre-configured as virtual wire interface. Okay, so this is basically not commonly used in our real-time environment. Just it's in some scenario, in some option, you will just use this one, or you can say it is the enhanced shape of tap mode. Okay, we can simply, for time being, we'll just understand for this one. Then we have another option which is mostly very common and famous as well. It is a layer 2 deployment option. Okay, so normally in the real-time environment, it is configured as layer 2 or layer 3 as well. In the layer 2 deployment mode, the firewall is configured to perform switching between two or more network segments. Okay, so if you see this diagram, there are three segments. One is the server zone, one is campus LAN, and one is DB server. So basically in the layer 2, your firewall basically do the switching. It will just forward the traffic to the default gateway which is configured inside the Palo Alto firewall, and permissions and the netting and the security policies will be configured same as it is. But the main difference is this one: in this mode, the firewall interfaces are capable of supporting access and trunking. So either your inside these interfaces will be access or trunk, and there will be a default gateway configured to just pass on the traffic here. So your firewall is just doing the switching, if nothing more. Okay, so for time being, just keep in mind, and we will see later on when we do our next lab. Another thing which is important, that any BPDU receive, okay, there is no spanning tree basically, like it will not participate in the spanning tree topology, okay, or the protocol, and any BPDU it receive on the firewall interfaces are directly forwarded to the layer 2, from the layer 2 interfaces to the campus network or whatever which is configured. Okay, so spanning tree is not configured there anymore. Then there is another mode which is the most famous as well and mostly in use in our requirement, that is layer 3 deployment option. Okay, in this one, guys, you configure your Palo Alto firewall in the routed mode. Okay, and this is a very common, and mostly we will work with layer 2 or layer 3 deployment option, depend on your design, on the administrator, what he want. Okay, so in this mode, the firewall route traffic between the multiple interfaces, which is configured with an IP address and security zone. So what we'll do in this one, we'll just configure the IPs on the interfaces, and we configure the routing. If you see, have a look over here. If I do over here layer 3, okay, and I'll configure here. It will ask for the virtual router, like what is my default route. I will configure here virtual router. What is my security zone? It is inside or outside. Then I will configure the IP4 on the interface. Okay, so basically in this mode, my firewall will be in the routing, and it will take the routing decision based on the policy which is configured. Okay, guys, so this is our mode for today, which we have learned, and I hope it's a benefit information for you guys, and you learn a lot with this mode. Layer 3 deployment option, layer 2 deployment option, then there is virtual wire deployment option, and then there is tap mode deployment option. Okay, guys, so let's start our lab for today. So as an administrator, whenever you start configuring the Palo Alto firewall, there are some basic standards or basic configuration which have to be applied as the best practice. Okay, so based on our this topology, our 1/1 interface is moving towards internet, and 1/2 is going to the DMZ switch, and 1/3 is going down towards distribution. Okay, in our topology, we'll use the L3 interfaces. Okay, we'll use the deployment model of layer 3 deployment option. Okay, where I will configure my all outside interfaces of the Palo Alto firewall with IP address. Okay, so I will follow layer 3 deployment option. We'll also follow and see one video related to the layer 2 deployment option as well. Okay, so layer 2 and layer 3 will both do it, but for today we'll do the layer 3. Okay, so let's first verify the configuration on the routers, that our routers are configured with the IP address. Okay, so let's start from our router, internet router. This router we already configured in our last recorded session. So now I will just make sure that it is done. Okay, yes. So my 0/0 interface is going towards the internet, okay, to my modem, and 0/1 is configured 192.168.100.2 towards Palo Alto firewall. Okay, so our Palo Alto firewall will be 100. So right now, ping from my router to the Palo Alto firewall, it is not reachable because the Palo Alto firewall is not yet configured. Same thing I will verify with my DMZ switch. Show IP interface brief is the main command. Exclude unassigned. So 150.2 is already configured, but if I try to ping it .1, it will not work. Okay. Same thing I will do with the distribution level switch. Show IP interface brief, exclude unassigned. If I make it ping, it will not ping because Palo Alto is not configured. So let's start our Palo Alto firewall. The first thing, when you will log into the Palo Alto firewall, you have to do some basic level of configuration related to the management. Okay, since our Palo Alto firewall is the model of Palo Alto firewall, not the model actually, the Palo Alto firewall by default there is implicit deny. Okay, so you cannot ping the Palo Alto firewall, so you have to configure the Palo Alto to receive the ping, reachability, or SSH or HTTPS. So normally we never allow the ping or reachability from the outside, and you will only allow with some specific host or from inside. Okay, but for the lab purpose I will allow it to be reachable from all sides because I need to check the reachability. But as a best practice, it is not recommended to allow the ping or SSH from outside or from DMZ. Okay, you always allow from the inside interface with some specific host. So what I will do now, I'll go to the interface management. Okay, I will add it. So interface management profile. Basically, this is a profile. Okay, so I will make it mgmt profile. Okay, and I will allow administrative management services. So I will told this under this profile that any connection coming from HTTP, HTTPS, telnet, SSH, okay, plus ping. And if I want to allow the SNMP or the other one, I can select as well, but I will just select ping, SSH, telnet, HTTPS, and HTTP. So once I will apply this one, I'm able to ping the Palo Alto firewall from 1/1, 1/2, 1/3, plus I can do HTTPS or HTTP session as well. Okay, if I want to allow permitted IP address, if I did not allow anything, it will be allowed from the all sites. But if I want to make it with a specific one, I can allow here any specific user as well. For example, I can say 192.168.150.2, 192.168.150.0 as well. Okay, /24. I can do this one as well. Okay, I can add one more, 172.16.10.0/24, and I will do it 192.168. I will just keep these two. Okay, 192.168.150.0 and this one. Okay, this one I will add later on. Okay, so I'll make it add. This profile is added. Okay, now let's move to our some of the other option here, which I believe I should tell you now, which is the commit option. Okay, let's see what is this commit option. If I keep over here, commit all changes, commit changes made by admin. So once I done the configuration, this configuration is not yet applied to my Palo Alto firewall. Okay, there is preview change, there is change summary, there is validate commitment. So let's see one by one all this option. Commit changes by admin. If I as an administrator right now, it will show me the commit changes made by admin. Okay, if I want to make, I don't want to make any specific user or power user or network admin or operator, I will just keep it commit all changes. Preview changes is very important. Okay, if I click over here in the preview changes, it will show me what is the changes done on my Palo Alto firewall. Okay, if you see over here, just recently I have added interface management profile. So there is 3 legend: added, modified, or deleted. Okay, so this is my running configuration. This is my candidate configuration. So just now I have added the configuration. So it's showing me here as the blue highlighted. There's this information I have added. And I hope you will confirm as well that I have added HTTPS, SSH, ping, and telnet session under these 2 subnets. Okay. Modified, if I have modified the existing configuration, okay, then it will show under the modified. Okay, host name, PAVM. Okay, so this is the option. Changes, change summary. What is the change summary? Is this one: administrator, management configuration, added, admin will be committed, yes. Previous owner, yes. So it is just showing me the summary of the management profile I have added. So this information is showing me as well. Okay. Then there is validate commit. Validate commit mean the configuration which I have just recently did, it will validate it. How it will validate it? It will run the algorithm of the Palo Alto firewall. Okay. And it will make sure that the configuration which I have done, that is valid, and it can be able to override the existing configuration. Okay, so it will take some time to validate the configuration. Let's see how it is do it. since this is a virtual firewall and the resources are not so strong, so it's taking so time. Okay, so anyhow, it validates my configuration, operation validates, status completed, result successful. Okay, configuration is valid. So whatever I have done it is a valid. So it is always be part of best practice to keep the configuration that it is valid or not. Okay, so this is the one. I will not commit it now. Just keep it. Let me do some other configuration as well. Okay, and then if I will go over here on the interfaces, let me check one more thing here. I can change the name. Okay, we'll do later on. Okay, so management profile I have done now. The next thing is to create a zones. Okay, zone is a very important section for the Palo Alto firewall. You always do a zoning in your Palo Alto firewall. So for us right now, I will just create outside, DMZ, and inside zone. Okay, so what I will do now, I will make it an add. I'll make it outside. Okay, what is the tab mode? I'll just keep as it is. I will not mention anything outside, anything else, just except the zones. I'll create it. Then I will create it DMZ zone, add it, and I will do it inside zone. Okay, and for information, this is a case sensitive. Okay, if I make one inside as the capital and other I will make it small letter, so it will add it as a 2. So it is a case sensitive. Okay, so I have done the zoning. Next thing is I have to create a virtual router. Virtual router is very important to tell the Palo Alto firewall what is your default gateway. Okay, so my default gateway is 1/1. So I'll go over here. I will add it name default gateway. Okay, and I will add it static route default. Okay, so my destination is 192.168.100.2 192.168.100. I can make IP or subnet as well. So, but here I'll make it subnet. Okay, 100.2/24. Then is interface. I'll not keep it anything. I'll make it none. Next hop. What is the next hop? IP address. If you see over here, I can add the address option as well. Okay, but right now I will just put it 168.100.2. Okay, so this is my next hop. I'll keep as it is. Okay, the next thing I will assign with the Ethernet of the Palo Alto firewall with the IPs. Interface 1/1 100.1. I'll just click it. Here I will mention the interface type, okay, which is L3. Okay, virtual router default gateway, which I already done. I can do it at the same time here as well. I can create it. Okay, if you want, I can create as well from here section. Okay, but once you are familiar with the hardware, then you can do it. But as a new user or a new administrator, you should create a separately. Security zone, I can create as well. But right now it is not showing me here the zones. Okay, I'll just make it IP here 192.168.100.1. 192.168.100.1. Okay, IPv6 will not configure, SD-WAN will not do it. In the advanced, the management profile which I have created previously, I will select here management profile. Okay, so I applied here, but keep remember I did not allow this subnet. Okay, I'll do one thing, because the security zone is not showing me here with the zone which I have created. So I'll do one thing. I'll go over here with the zone, and I will assign the tap modes. Okay, L3. Now this option will be available here. Okay, outside. So let's do it here for the all zones. For the inside, L3. For the DNP, L3. Okay, so let's go back here. 1/2 is going towards DMZ. Okay, so same thing I will do here. I will just make L3 virtual router, default gateway, security zone, DMZ, IPv4, 192.168.150.2. 192.168.150.1, sorry. Okay, IPv6 nothing, SD-WAN nothing, advanced. I will just allow the management profile to be here. Okay, and 1/3 will be my inside interface. I'll change the tap mode, L3, default gateway, security zone, DMZ, IPv4, 172.16.10.1. Okay, I have to add the 24. I lost it. I forgot to add 192.168.10.1. 10.1. Okay, we have to mention /24. I'll change the last one as well. And management profile. Okay, I'll change here as well. /24. Okay, guys, so have done our configuration on the interface. Now the time to make it commit, I'll go here. Once again, I will change preview. I will see what changes I have done. Okay, so now you have much more things to see. On the Ethernet level, I have modified. Okay, because this configuration was already there for the Ethernet, I have just added the information under the Ethernet 1/1. I make it L3. If you remember, I changed the type from to L3, so it is showing as modified. Okay, so 192.168.100.1. Okay, this is the same profile because the new configuration is showing as green. Also, again, I have added some of the default gateway and the L3 interfaces. The static route I have added, so it's showing as 192.168.100.0 metric 10. Okay. Hostname PAVM, it's also modified now. I don't know why even I did not change it, but anyhow, we'll keep it is. The zone I have modified. Okay, the zone were there, but I just modified it with the naming. Okay, and this is also added with the interfaces information. Okay, so I will do now. I will. Oh, it's commit. And same time, let me ping from here. One, repeat 30. Okay. Okay, guys, you see, do you notice that my configuration is done? So I'm able to reachable to the Palo Alto firewall from the DMZ. Okay, same thing I will check from the inside distribution, I mean. See, guys, I'm able to reachable from inside. So operation commit, status completed, result successful, and details configuration committed successfully. Okay, but since we did not configure it from the outside, so we are not able to reach from the router side. And we'll see this one, guys. I hope you enjoy this video and you see the difference of the configuration. Okay, I'm not able to ping 192.168.1. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I will just make the changes on the profile of the management, and then we'll see how it behaves. Not here actually. I'll go here. It's another network. Okay, so I will add here 192.168.100.0/24. Okay, I'll go again. I will just commit it. I need to see now. Okay, so same thing I'll do over here with the router. Repeats 20 and let the changes done. See, guys, finally we have done. We are reachable from all the way out, from the inside, outside, and from the DMZ, and our configuration is done successfully. Operation successfully, status completed, operation commit. So guys, we have done our configuration for today. We have learned, I hope we have learned something today, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. So inshallah, we will see with our next upcoming video with the further Palo Alto configuration for other things like the L2 and we will explore some more options. And I hope you have enjoyed this video, and please guys, don't forget to subscribe and like this channel. And I hope you have enjoyed this one. So take care.